welcome to day 5 of my 5-day morning yoga journey. Today's the last day, but you can obviously just go back and watch the videos again if you've enjoyed it. Today's class is about contentment and learning to accept things that we maybe can't change or don't necessarily have control over. As always, listen to your body during this practice. It's a bit of a fast-paced one, this, but just have fun with it. That's all I will say. Again, shut that ego out. Don't think about what things look like, think about how they feel. We're beginning in a seated position, so however that's comfortable for you. Coming into your body, forgetting anything around you, just really focusing in, bringing your thoughts inwards and beginning to focus on the breath. Gently placing your hands wherever is comfortable for you, whether that's on your knees, your thighs, or in your lap. Or possibly coming to place one hand on your chest and one hand on your stomach. And allowing your stomach to really fill up with air. Because of horrible media expectations and things like that, we often hold our stomach in, so we're not getting the fullest deep breath, which is a shame, to say the least. So when you are focusing on your breathing, just let go. Allow your stomach to really grow and look big because it's full of air and it's keeping you alive. So focusing in on the breath, and just maybe throughout this practice or even just now, start to think about what is good in your life. What positives can you draw day to day? At this moment when these videos are going out, we are all in lockdown and facing possibly the biggest changes we've all faced together. And though it is all very scary, there is also a sense of togetherness and solidarity, which is quite a beautiful feeling. But I think it's important for us, we're always seeing the news, which is quite negative and scary, but to focus on the little things that every day make us smile and feel grounded. Whatever that might be for you, just thinking about those as we go through this practice today. Coming into our first stretch of the day, we're coming for a side angle on each side. So we've done this one before. So again, as I said before, not thinking about how close to the ground you can get, but thinking about the width and the length that you can create with the side of your body. So we're going to start on the left hand side. So just sweeping your arm up and over, keeping your shoulders nice and relaxed, and then beginning to side bend to the right hand side, maybe placing your right hand down on the mat for support. Really opening up through that beautiful side body here, creating length and openness through the chest. Possibly getting deeper into that side stretch as your muscles are allowed to grow and stretch. Giving them time, being patient. Inhaling back up to center, coming onto the other side now. So with the right arm, we sweep it up and over, create length, stretch, 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 and slowly coming over into your side bend. Left hand is gently placed on the floor. There shouldn't be too much weight into this hand though. Gaze maybe up towards the ceiling, but if that's no good for your neck, then just keeping it down. Inhaling back to center. Coming into a cow face stretch, which I love the name of. I don't quite understand why it's called that though. People have tried explaining it to me and I feel like it's a bit of a stretch, pun intended. But we are crossing the left leg over the right thigh so that both of your knees are kind of almost stacked and your feet are next to your hip bones. So you've got your left foot next to your right hip bones and your right foot next to your left. Wait, no, that's not true. It's right and left. Yes, no, it is. It is. That was right. So you've got your feet kind of coming out to the side of you, and I think that is meant to be the ears of the cow. So I don't quite understand it, but that's what it should look like. And you should feel quite a nice stretch, particularly through the upper leg. So your left thigh should be feeling quite nicely stretched here. And you can keep this position just like this, maybe bring your hands to heart center like this in prayer. But the full posture is in fact including cow face arms as well, which is the sweeping up of one arm and grabbing hold of that hand with your other hand behind your back. We sometimes do these arms in standing postures or in just cross-legged positions. And it's a bit of a deep stretch to begin the class with, so if you don't feel quite comfortable here yet, then just let go. Lower the arms down to the feet. The focus here should be in the legs, so don't worry too much about the arm position. Making sure both sit bones are on the mat so that you're not tilting to one side or the other. Taking one more inhale all together and extending through the spine. And exhale. We slowly unravel the legs. Give them a little shake out here in the big front of the mat. Windscreen wipering them side to side. Now placing the left leg underneath your right sit bones and sweeping the right leg over your left thigh. So again, the knees should be kind of coming towards being on top of each other, feet towards the hips, but again, if they don't get that far, don't worry and do not force it. If you've got any pinching in your knees at this point, then ease off it. I'm definitely tighter on this side as my right foot is coming out away from my body slightly more. So just noticing that. And if you did want to do some cow face arms, then rising the opposite arm from what you did last time, coming to grasp that hand with your other hand, straightening through the back, nice long healthy spine. Really nice. Maybe letting go of the bind, resting the hands on the legs, sending energy to these muscles, giving your cow face a little stroke or a pat. Inhaling all together and exhaling, we unravel. Windscreen wiper the legs. We're coming into an upward plank now. So if we just stretch the legs out in front of us, bring your hands behind your back so that your fingers are pointing towards your feet. And we literally just push up through, if you imagine pushing from your pelvis almost. Pushing up, 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 up. And the pelvis is trying to touch the ceiling. Of course it won't, or it shouldn't. Extending through the legs, there's lots of energy in the feet. And you can have your neck engaged and looking down towards your feet. And if you feel comfortable with it, maybe letting go and just letting go of the head so that it drops down. Only if this is comfortable for your neck though, making sure the whole body is engaged here. Glutes are turned on, core is engaged. One more inhale here. And then we exhale, lower down to the ground. Beautiful, well done. That's quite a nice energizing stretch. So, rolling forward, hands onto the mat in front of you. We're stepping back into our tabletop and coming straight into downward dog this time. So tucking the feet under, pushing hips up and back, and coming into your first downward dog of the day. So remembering that you can have your knees, or you should even have your knees bent as much as you need. Your arms are long, weight is evenly distributed through the hands. Head is relaxed and heavy. Walking that dog out now. With the gaze looking up towards the hands, we step one foot and the other to our forward fold. And slowly and with control, we roll the spine vertebra by vertebra up to standing. We're doing our first sun salutation of the class now. So with bent knees and feet hip width distance apart, we inhale, rise the arms up and over, and exhale, we forward fold, diving down. Inhale, placing hands on the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping one foot then the other back into your plank. Option to modify this plank now, but if you're with me in a full chaturanga, we inhale forwards and exhale, hug the elbows in, lower down to the mat and come up on the inhale for your upward facing dog. Strong legs here, strong arms. Exhale, we push up and back, flipping the toes into your downward facing dog. Walking your dog out. Inhale to lift the gaze up towards the top of the mat. Hop, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, rise the arms up and over. Exhale, palms to heart center. That's really beautiful. Well done. So, taking that again, feet hip width distance apart, knees are bent. Inhale to rise the arms up and over. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, planting the hands down onto the ground. We step one foot back, then the other, so we come into a plank. Inhale to come forwards on the tiptoes. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to face the top of the mat, stepping one foot then the other up to your halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we rise up, hands meet at the top, and exhale to prayer, heart center. Stepping back now into a pyramid posture. So we'll go first with the left foot, keeping your hands either in prayer in front of you or possibly taking a bind of the arms behind your back. So we just step one foot back, not as far as if you were in a high lunge, but they are in train tracks, so the legs are parallel to each other. The back foot is angled out at about 45 degrees. We inhale for length, and we exhale, we hinge from the hips, as though we're diving into a forward fold, stopping at the 90-degree angle point. Both legs are straight and strong. If you would like to go deeper, you can do so without compromising any other part of your body. Keeping the neck long. And on your next inhale, we rise up back to center, placing the left foot back up to meet right at the top of the mat. And coming onto the other side, stepping a right foot back, angling your back foot slightly outwards, about 45 degrees. Straightening both legs, making sure they're in train tracks and not tight ropes. Taking whatever arm position you'd like, whether that's in the bind behind you or in prayer position in front. We inhale for length through the spine. And exhale, we fold forwards. Stopping at about 90 degrees. Making sure we have a beautiful long neck, so the gaze is towards the ankle. You should almost be able to place a cup of coffee or tea or a gin and tonic on your back, with it being so straight and stable. And on your next inhale, we rise back up and meet the right foot at the top of the mat with the left foot. Untangle your arms however they were. With feet hip width distance apart, we bend the knees. Inhale, rise the arms up and over into prayer. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, placing hands onto the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping one foot back and then the other with the hands on the mat. Inhale to come forward on the toes. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Anchoring through the left foot now, we rise up on the right into your three-legged dog. Taking a bend in that right leg, we're going to open up the hips by taking hip circles here. Taking them one way and then the other. Coming back to your three-legged dog and inhaling, we step it at the top of the mat in between the hands. Staying in this low lunge, keeping your left hand grounded, either flat on the mat, or you can make a fist with your left hand if that's too much on your wrist. And we open up to the right hand side of the room, coming into a low lunge twist. Your right leg should be bent, left leg should be strong and straight behind you. Arms are open, creating length through the chest and the arms. Gaze can go to the top of your right hand, so towards the ceiling, or it can stay down towards the mat. Glutes are turned on here, core is strong. Staying here for one more breath. And exhale, we lower the hand down to the mat. Stepping the right foot back, we push back up into your downward facing dog. Coming onto the other side now, channeling that energy through the right foot, we come into your left-legged three-legged dog. Bending the left leg so that you're almost touching your bum with your left foot. And we come into your hip circles. Circling in one direction and then the other. Three-legged dog, and exhale through to the top of the mat. With a bend in your left knee and your right leg straight, we place the right hand onto the mat, either in a fist or flat onto the mat. And we open up the left arm up to the left-hand side of the room into a low lunge stretch, or twist, sorry. Gaze is either towards the ceiling or down to the mat. Shoulders have space from the ears. Both legs are very strong. One more breath here all together. And exhale, we place the hand back down to the mat, stepping back into your plank. Coming through your flow, otherwise going to downward dog. So exhale, lowering down to the mat. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Coming into a child's pose now, so dropping the knees down, feet together, knees wide apart, pushing back into your child's pose. Tucking the toes under the feet now, pushing up and back into your downward facing dog. We're coming into a wild thing now. So this is a lot of fun once you can do it, but if you can't, then don't feel disappointed. It took quite a long time for me to get a hang of this one. So anchoring through the left foot, coming into a three-legged dog on your right hand side, creating lots of space here, so really tiptoeing through the left foot. We think up as though you're trying to hit the ceiling with your right foot. Bend that right leg like we did before with the hip circles, so you're almost trying to touch your bottom. And then open up to the side of the room and flipping into your wild thing, letting go of the floor with your right hand. And your belly is now parallel with the ceiling. Flipping back into your downward facing dog. Staying in your three-legged dog. Seeing if you can do a vinyasa with your right foot lifted. So three-legged vinyasa. Floating through to your plank. Exhaling, lowering down to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This is a bit of a challenging one. Don't worry if you're not keeping up, but well done if you are. Anchoring through the right foot, inhale, left foot up and back. Coming into wild thing on the other side now. So creating spaces so you're trying to touch the ceiling with your left foot and letting it drop to the side so that you're trying to touch your bum with your left foot. And now just twisting around so that you're almost touching the ground with your left foot. Coming onto the tip of your fingers on your left hand, and then flipping all the way over to your wild thing. Flipping back to your three-legged dog, coming through a flow. Exhale to plank with your left leg lifted. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stepping one foot then the other back up to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Coming to sit on the mat now. We're beginning to warm down. And you've got the option here of shoulder stand going into plough. So giving your knees a hug, bringing them into your centre. We're taking some spinal rolls. Being very mindful of the spine here. And coming down into your shoulder stand. So lowering the back down. Engaging your core and using your hands to help you up, so that you're almost using your shoulders as stabilizers, I suppose. Straightening up through the legs, creating a lot of energy to the top of your feet. And if you wish to do so, Then coming into your plough by touching the tips of your toes onto the floor behind you. Making sure that your neck isn't getting pinched. Playing around with this posture. And lowering down slowly and with control. Okay, coming onto your front now, onto the mat. So lowering down. Stretching your right arm out to the side of you. And then, as though you're doing a wild thing or a flipped dog, we begin to push with our left hand, push the left of our body open so that you can feel a stretch through the right shoulder. You're just opening up to the side of the room. You can open up your feet if that helps you feel more stable. Closing this back, coming onto the other side now. So bringing your right hand to the mat beside you, stretching the left arm out away from you to the left of the room, and using your right hand to open up your chest and the right hand side of your body, and just flip over so that you feel a really nice stretch in your left shoulder. Very nice. Coming back to lay on the ground. Taking one more inhale in low cobra or sphinx pose. And exhale, we push up through tabletop and come into a seated position, however that's most comfortable for you. Closing your eyes, making any adjustments you need to before coming into our final resting pose. Letting your breath slow down to its natural pace. Feel it cooling down your body. Notice how different you might feel now compared to the beginning of the class. Bring your tongue to touch the roof of your mouth so that you can relax your jaw. Feel the blood pumping through your body, the energy circulating. And find peace here. Come back to that question of what is good in your life. Consider the positives, the tiny little things that make you smile. I want you to begin to tune in to the noises furthest away from you. So perhaps if you are in a room, you might be tuning into the noises outside that room, whether that's your family or your friends talking, maybe someone's playing music in the distance. Maybe you can hear some birds chirping. Perhaps there's a bit of traffic outside your house. Tuning into those sounds as you breathe. Now coming inwards and tuning into the sounds in the room you are in. Those sounds that are surrounding your entity, your being. Perhaps there's a fly or a bee buzzing around. Maybe there's a sort of whirring sound from an electronic piece of equipment. Perhaps you can even hear the breathing or the heartbeat of someone in the room with you. And finally tuning into the sounds inside you. Hearing yourself, hearing your body working, hearing any thoughts you might be having, listening to them, knowing they are valid, and being content with yourself. Bringing your hands to heart center. I thank you for joining me on this 5-day morning yoga journey. I really hope you enjoyed it. Slowly fluttering your eyes open. I hope to see you here again soon, and I wish you a very loving day. Namaste.